Hello there, I'm Heidi Adams in for Esther Gitui-Hewitt. Welcome to Africa 54. Here is what's coming up. The International Court of Justice keeps South Africa's genocide case against Israel alive as the Gaza death toll surpasses 26,000 people. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken promises increased cooperation with Angola as he wraps up his visit to Africa. And in our entertainment report, Heather Maxwell drops the needle. All this and much more on today's Africa 54. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is renewing his calls to protect civilians following a deadly strike on a United Nations shelter in Gaza that the world body attributes to Israeli tank shelling. White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara reports.
At least 20 people killed and 150 wounded by Israeli strikes on a crowd waiting for humanitarian aid in Gaza City, according to Gaza health officials. Israel says it's investigating. Meanwhile, Israeli troops continue their advance in Khan Yunis as thousands of Gazans flee from the city. Safety is elusive. According to the UN, 13 were killed and dozens injured Wednesday after Israeli tank shells struck a facility housing 43,000 Palestinian refugees. In Angola, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called for such facilities to be protected.
We've reaffirmed this with the government of Israel, and it's my understanding that they are, as is necessary and appropriate, looking into this incident.
Israel suggests that the building housing refugees was hit by a Hamas rocket. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is going ahead with plans to establish a buffer zone along the border with Gaza that he says will protect Israeli communities from Hamas attacks.
Hamas came to annihilate us. We will annihilate them. We will deepen our roots in our country. We will uproot our enemies. We will be here, and they will not be there.
The U.S. does not support a buffer zone that would include Palestinian territory. The plan could widen the rift between Israel and its staunchest backer.
The level of frustration in D.C. is increasing, and part of that has to do with Netanyahu publicly and specifically rejecting requests that the U.S. has made. I'm sure it doesn't feel good in Washington to be giving almost unlimited support, unconditional support to what Israel is doing, and then to have the prime minister of the country effectively spit in your face.
Israel has already rejected Washington's push for the creation of a Palestinian state once the war is over, prompting a warning from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
This refusal and the denial of the right to statehood to the Palestinian people would indefinitely prolong a conflict that has become a major threat to global peace and security.
In the bloodiest months of the decades-long conflict, Palestinians estimate nearly 26,000 people have been killed by the military campaign in Gaza since October 7, when Hamas attacked targets in Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking 240 others hostage. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News.
South Africa is hailing what it calls a decisive victory for international rule of law after the International Court of Justice ruled in favor of its request to impose emergency measures against Israel over its military operations in Gaza. The court is ordering Israel to prevent acts of genocide against the Palestinians. It also wants the Jewish state to do more to help civilians in the war against Hamas militants in Gaza. The ICJ has not yet ruled on the core of the case brought by South Africa, whether genocide has occurred in Gaza. Israel calls South Africa's allegations false and, quote, grossly distorted, and says it makes the utmost efforts to avoid civilian casualties. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa celebrated with party members on Friday as they watched the World Court ruling.
This incident.
After more than half a century of occupation, dispossession, oppression, and apartheid, the Palestinian people's cries for justice have been heeded by an eminent organ of the United Nations. Today, Israel stands before the international community its crimes against the Palestinians laid bare. Since October last year, the people of Gaza have been the victims of bombardment and strikes from land, sea, and air. Homes, refugee camps, and entire neighborhoods have been destroyed, and not even schools and hospitals and religious places have been spared.
Israel's commitment to international law is unwavering. Equally unwavering is our sacred commitment to continue to defend our country and defend our people. Like every country, Israel has an inherent right to defend itself. The vile attempt to deny Israel this fundamental right is blatant discrimination against the Jewish state, and it was justly rejected. The charge of genocide leveled against Israel is not only false, it's outrageous, and decent people everywhere should reject it. On the eve of the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, I again pledge as Israel's Prime Minister, never again. Israel will continue to defend itself against Hamas, a genocidal terror organization.
Well, South African officials often compare their struggle against apartheid to the Palestinian cause, a comparison Israel strongly disputes. A Kenyan court has ruled that a plan to send a contingent of police officers to Haiti as part of a UN-approved mission is unconstitutional. The decision throws into doubt the future of an initiative aimed at tackling gang violence in the Caribbean nation. In October, a Kenyan opposition party challenged the government's decision to send 1,000 officers to address the deepening crisis in Haiti, where gangs have killed nearly 5,000 people and forced around 200,000 from their homes last year. No word yet from the Kenyan government on whether it would appeal the ruling. Well, to help us understand what exactly this ruling means, I'm joined by David Monda in New York. He's a professor of political science at City University of New York. David, very nice to see you once again. I want to get straight into it. This plan to send Kenyan police to Haiti has been making headlines for a long time, of course. Why does Kenya's High Court believe that it is illegal or unconstitutional?
For two main reasons. The first one is that the court argues the National Security Council does not have the constitutional mandate to be able to deploy Kenyan police officers. That it can only happen in terms of the military, but not police officers. So that was the first element of the constitutional question, that the National Security Council did not have that power. The second element is that this arrangement could only have been possible if there was a reciprocal agreement between Kenya and the country where these forces were going to be deployed, in this case, Haiti. And as we know, currently in Haiti, there's a big question about the legitimacy of the government, about the whether Henri is really in power and whether he has the mandate to do this. And Kenya does not have a reciprocal agreement with Haiti in terms of sending of any kind of security forces. So I think these were the two big pillars on which the court's decision was made.
David, there was, of course, a lot of support and money attached to this mission, but also to the idea that Kenya was going to play a leading role in this UN multinational force. What does this mean for President Ruto now? This was something that he felt very strongly about. But what does this mean for him in terms of the optics internationally? Should they appeal and not prevail in the courts at home?
I think that there's two elements to that. So there's a domestic element and there's an international element. I think domestically, there was a feeling that President Ruto was using the sending of troops, Kenyan troops to Haiti to bolster his own personal international standing, and that this really wasn't a core interest of the Kenyan state. But I also think, secondly, it's going to raise the tension between the judiciary in Kenya and the executive, the Kenya government. Today, the High Court in Kenya also stopped the government collecting a housing levy So this is also going to raise the tension between the government and the government of President Ruto. But I think more broadly, it really raises the question of international interventions in Haiti, whether it be from Kenya or whether it be from other foreign partners. The U.S. has intervened in Haiti historically. The UN has intervened in Haiti historically, and many of these missions have ended up very disastrously. So I think it also raises a broader question about Haiti in terms of exactly how the international community should address the predicament of the country of Haiti, because things are not looking good in that country right now.
Professor David Monda, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much. David Monda is a political science professor at City University of New York. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has wrapped up a 4-country tour of democracy-supporting countries in West Africa. VOA senior diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sain has more.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapped up his tour of Africa Thursday, saying the U.S. seeks more common ground and a shared future with democratic countries on the continent, including Angola.
At the White House in November, President Biden reaffirmed to President Lorenzo that this is a historic moment for the partnership between the United States and Angola. Our relationship is stronger, it's more consequential, it's farther reaching than in any point in our 30-year friendship. And at this transformational moment, President Biden asked me to come to Luanda to help build on and accelerate our progress.
In Angola's capital, Blinken reviewed what he said was faster than expected work on the Lobito Corridor Railway, connecting the country with the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia. It is the most ambitious U.S. infrastructure project on a continent where China has long been engaged in similar massive endeavors, says Africa expert Terry McCulley with the United States Institute of Peace.
The U.S. is investing significantly in Angola. The Lobito Corridor project, which will link Angola to DRC and Zambia, is the largest U.S. public investment in Africa in decades. And I think that's a signal that the U.S. wants to be engaged and a strong partner of African countries.
McCulley says the United States aims to show that it is a long-term partner at a time when Russia is ramping up its security ties with military-run states in Africa, and China is expanding its footprint through investment in infrastructure.
You see a resurgence in Russian efforts to influence in Africa, particularly through disinformation campaigns. China obviously is a very important player on the African continent, and let's be honest, the Africans value that relationship because China and Chinese companies have contributed a lot to the needed infrastructure projects that are essential for development.
Asked about partnering with the U.S. as opposed to Russia and China, Angola's foreign minister, Tete Antonio, had a diplomatic answer saying the best friend is the one that tells the truth. Blinken also praised Angola's peace efforts on the continent.
Angola is trusted by all sides. President Lorenzo's leadership is vital for a breakthrough.
President Joe Biden has said he is eager to visit Africa, but Blinken noted that the U.S. election imposes time constraints on him this year. Cindy Sain, VOA News.
Well, elsewhere on the continent, the South African city of Cape Town is a highly desirable tourist destination. However, the high crime rate is almost always a concern. In a recent interview with Africa 54's managing editor Vincent Makori, Mayor Gordon Hill-Lewis sought to reassure potential Cape Town visitors.
We're attracting more international visitors, not least of which from America. We are making progress on violent crime. We're bringing it down, the only place in South Africa where it is coming down, not going up. So on all of those things, we are saying, yes, these are difficult challenges. They're not unique to South Africa. They are developing world challenges. But we are not going to sit on our hands and say they're all too difficult. We're going to do something about them and demonstrate to South Africa and the world that Cape Town can be a model of success. And I think Cape Townians can point to those successes and that progress. a lot more to do, of course.
And of course, nobody can downplay the challenges of eliminating or mitigating some of the, say, the issues you have to face. For example, the crime rate. You know, people will say in Cape Town, there's a part of the city that people are scared of going because of gangs, and we know there are how many gangs. I don't want to start enumerating. So practically, really, how then do you convince somebody that I can go to Cape Town and visit east to west, south to north without having to worry about anything? What have you done so far, or are you doing, that can convince me that I'm safe anywhere in Cape Town, not one side of town, but the Cape Flats and everywhere else, I can be safe?
So we are focusing our crime and safety resources squarely and purely in those communities that are most afflicted by crime. So in gang communities or communities that are afflicted by gangs, that is where all of our investment is going. Overwhelming investment. And the results are there to speak for themselves, whereas violent crime is unfortunately ticking upwards in South Africa, in Cape Town and in many of those gang-ridden communities, it is ticking downwards. That's not to say that it is nearly safe enough in those communities. You are right, there is this very differentiated pattern of crime in Cape Town and divided pattern, but it is demonstrating a model that is working. The statistics are going in the right direction rather than in the wrong direction. And that is because of overwhelming differentiated investment. Thousands of officers, boots on the ground, technology, drone technology, camera technology, everything needed to try and turn the tide against crime in those affected communities, while communities that are much safer can continue to attract investment and visitors, because that is also an important part of turning the tide in Cape Town, is combating poverty, getting people out of poverty and into work opportunities.
Well, it's time now for our Africa Cup of Nations update. Let's go live to Alvaro Andrade, who is standing by in Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire. Alvaro, great to see you. Tell us, what is the latest? What's happening today?
My pleasure. I'm in the media center. 2 hours ago, the coach of Nigeria and Cameroon talked about the game tomorrow. Rigobert Song said defense will be important against Nigeria, whose powerful attack is led by the African Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen. And Song realized that his team has already conceded 6 goals, but he said, and quotes, "Tomorrow we find the formula to not concede." Even he recognized that Nigeria is a strong team. Song seemed very confident and said his players will do everything they can do obtain a positive result. Pressed by journalists about the crisis with the goalkeeper Onana, he denied any problem with Onana, who was dropped for their last match of the African at finals, could be on the bench tomorrow again. In the other side, the Nigerian coach, the Portuguese José Peseiro, stressed the importance of defense solidity. And I quote him again, "I don't want to concede goals tomorrow. I want to score at least one and win the game." Peseiro said he's not willing to use a different team from the last game. I believe we're going to see a tough game tomorrow between Nigeria and Cameroon. I remind you, this is a traditional game in the AFCON history. In the first round, Nigeria was very strong and stronger than Cameroon, but in this round, there is no prediction. The second game tomorrow will be in Bouaké between Namibia and Angola. In 12 games, Namibia never won a game. Angola won 8, and there are 3 draws. Everything is ready for tomorrow. Both of Coach Sam, they are confident to go to the next round. Back to you.
And I won't dare try and take any sides. Lots to look forward to, Alvaro. Thank you. That's VOA's Alvaro Andrade reporting from Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire. Well, still to come here on Africa 54 in our entertainment report. It's time to drop the needle. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Despite adoption of international treaties and instruments to better protect women against gender-based violence, United Nations says almost 1 in 3 women continue to be subjected to physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence at least once in their lives. On this week's episode of Our Voices, we will discuss whether existing laws on violence against women are effective enough to criminalize forms of domestic violence in sub-Saharan Africa. Join the conversation each week right here on Our Voices.
You're watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us each week right here on Red Carpet. We bring you the latest in
Well, let's take a look at other news from across the continent. The head of Guinea's ruling junta, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, has been promoted to the rank of general. That's according to the presidency. Doumbouya has ruled Guinea since overthrowing the country's first democratically elected president, Alpha Condé, in September 2021. Researchers say a rhinoceros was impregnated through embryo transfer in the first successful use of a method that could be used to try to save the nearly extinct northern white rhino subspecies. The experiment was conducted with the less endangered southern white rhino subspecies. And some of the best soccer in the world is being played at the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, but few outside of the continent appear to be paying much attention. Africa Cup games are mostly inaccessible to fans living in Europe. Players and coaches at the tournament say that's because AFCON is not being shown the international respect it deserves. Well, it's time now for our entertainment report, and joining us now is Heather Maxwell, and she's ready to once again drop the needle. Hello there, Heather.
Hi, Haiti. Hello, everyone. As I promised, I'm back with another round of my African music trivia game, this time with Ginny Niwa. Let's watch. All right, and as promised, we have Ginny Niwa, our Drop the Needle listener. No, challenger today.
Yes, Heather. Hi.
How are you?
Good.
It's nice to have you here.
Well, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to play. I'm so excited.
All right.
I'll say just whatever it's in my mind.
Oh, come on. Now, you're going to identify the song and the artist and the country it's from.
Yes, I am.
Here's number 1.
Okay. Okay, so she speaks French.
Yes.
So I want to say Ivory Coast.
Yes.
I just don't know who she is.
Oh. Do you know what the name of the song is?
Laissez-nous something.
Donnez-nous.
Donnez-nous un peu.
Oui.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
Okay, with a little help, but not
50-50.
And tell our English listeners and viewers what donnez-nous un peu means.
Give me a little.
Yes. And you know what she's talking about?
I don't
A little what?
I don't want to say. I don't want to go there.
It's not bad. It's just love.
Love.
Pure.
Of course it's
pure,
love. Yes.
honest love.
Okay.
All right, here's number 2.
Oh, Heather, I got it. I got it because I love her.
Oh!
Soraya.
Yes.
Yes, I just don't know the song, but I love her.
Oh, it's called Onoso Amor.
Onoso Amor.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Something
Our love. I think
love.
it's Our Love.
I love
so
Soraya.
you know her already then?
I know the song that she sings with her brother.
And what country is she from?
Cap Verde?
Yeah.
Cabo Verde.
Yeah. How about that one? All right, number 3. Ginny's doing good.
I don't know, but it sounds very good, and I want to say Gambia. No?
No.
How about I go a little lower in Africa and say, I don't know, but she sounds good though.
I know. She does sound good. Okay, she's from Cameroon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And her name is Kares Fotso.
Oh, okay.
So
like her.
you might want to check her out. Yeah. Okay. But Jenny, that is the end of Drop the Needle. You did great.
Yeah, it wasn't that
2
bad.
out of 3.
Yay.
And you told me you didn't even hardly study.
Yeah, no, I like it. No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.
Bye.
Anytime. Bye.
And Ginny is here with me in the studio. Ginny Niwa is co-host of VOA's popular French entertainment program, Vous et Nous.
Yeah.
Hi, Ginny.
Hi, Heather.
And once again, we're together.
And here we are.
Yes. So how did you find that Drop the Needle? You did a really good job. And you told me you didn't really study.
Yes, it wasn't that bad. I mean, coincidentally, you gave me artists that I love, you know, like Soraya.
Yeah.
And, you know, that other song. So it was totally fun. I wish my college experience was as fun, you know, during the test as Drop the Needle.
So do you love music naturally?
I love to dance. So I must love music. I love, you know, upbeats. I also like, you know, listen to gospel and sometimes just instrumental, maybe to go to sleep. So
now, do you ever put live music or feature music on your show, Vous et Nous?
Oh, yes.
You've had me on there before.
Yes. We do. You know, whenever we have the chance, we invite, you know, artists. The last time I had Abla Sissoko, which was a beautiful experience.
Yes.
So, yeah, whenever we have a chance, you know, for sure.
Can you sing, Ginny?
I believe I can.
Give us a
Not
little.
everybody
Give us a little.
What can I sing? Oh, let me think about it. It'll come to me.
Ginny's thinking. Ginny's thinking. Oh, really?
You know, I love Fally Ipupa, so Amour, 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 reviens, chérie.
Bravo. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So where are you from originally?
From the Congo, DRC.
Okay.
Yes.
But you grew up in New York.
I grew up, half and half France and New York. So very big city. So, you know, Kinshasa is in my blood. Paris is in my blood. New York is in my blood. That's a very big a bomb.
Yes. Well, listen, Ginny, thank you so much for joining me today and for dropping the needle.
Yes, thank you so much.
Ginny, that's it for our entertainment this week. Ginny Niwa, thank you. See you again. Back to you, Haiti.
See you.
Ginny can dance, she can host the show, she can sing. The talent is endless here at VOA. Heather, thank you so much. And be sure to join Heather's entertainment reports every Friday here on Africa 54. That'll do it for us today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.